What's going on, everyone? So today what we're going to do is we're going to replace the slave cylinder on the clutch. It is hiding right there. It's pretty easy to get to on mine since I have a front mount intercooler piping. Um, Here's the part number for the clutch slave assembly: 30620A A111. Alright, so all we're going to have to do is we're going to have to remove the two bolts right there on the side, and then remove the banjo bolt that goes to the line, and that should just come right out. Alright, so one thing I like to do before I break the bolts loose on this, because I've changed this one time before, is go ahead and crack this banjo bolt loose, just so it's already ready to come out. All I gotta do is just kind of take it the rest of the way out. So just popped it loose there. So now that is loose. Get a bite on this. There we go. Oh, it's a good one. Alright, tell you what. Put some Ugga Duggas on it here. Get this side. Settles in there good. Alright, so let me get that out and we'll come right back. Alright guys, so I got it swapped out. You can still see it's dripping there. I got to tighten it up. Now when you go to take this out, be very careful, because there is a, on this banjo bolt right here, there is a washer, a little copper O-ring washer on top and on bottom, and when you pull that off, a lot of times that one on the bottom falls out. Now this is on my 99 Impreza, so the, I want to say 02 and up models, they use, instead of the they use the pull style instead of the push style. So it's going to be just a little bit different for anyone doing one for that model, but it's pretty much the same thing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this hooked up before I lose too much more fluid. One thing I can say too is when you get ready to put this in, compress it down. And I did mine all the way, compressed it all the way, and then took some fluid and poured into it, and just slowly let it open up as I was pouring more fluid in, and let it pull all that in, so that way there's less chance of air bubbles getting trapped up here in the end of it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the banjo bolt in. Remember, there's one that goes on the bottom, and then this, and then your next one, and then your banjo bolt goes through all that. So let's get that in, and then we'll come back. Alright guys, we got that in. It's just kind of snug in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 14 millimeter, and that's the same one that fits the two side bolts over here and this banjo bolt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the banjo bolt, and then I'm just going to use my ratchet here just to kind of snug it. So I just got my hand just right here at the top of it, so just pretty much hand tight, really, not too tight. Alright, and then, because you want this, there's like a little groove right there, and that hard line needs to fit in between that. So we just wanted to snug that up. Okay, so now I can go through and I can tighten these on down. Tighten down kind of evenly here. Made a little bit of a mess. Oh, that one's been a little tight. It's kind of strange, because the other one was the one that was a pain to come out a while ago. I don't like that. That's too tight already. I could have got the bolts mixed up, though. This could have been the bolt that was over there, and it's the bolt. Yeah, some ugliness on them threads right there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and clean this bolt off real quick, and then we'll come back to it, because yeah, that's probably what the problem is. Probably getting about that far, and all that stuff's making it not want to go in the rest of the way. Alright, be right back. Alright guys, so that looks a little bit better. Got some spots down here at the bottom that are kind of ugly. I was hitting it with a knife blade just to try to take it out. So what I was doing was just taking the threads here. Let's see where my knife go. There it is. Alright, and let me get out of the light here. So basically, like right here, I can prop this up. Probably not. It's gonna be too close. Of course it is. I should get a camera mount here. Quit freehanding things. See what I'm gonna get. Ingenuitive. There we go. Alright, so basically what I was doing was I was just taking the knife and just running it through the threads. Like that spot there. It's not good. It's actually some foreign materials. It's mated itself to the screw. See if I can break it loose. There we go. This blade's serrated, so it'll dig into whatever that is and get it out. Alright, cool deal. There's another one. Yeah, there we go. Just knocked it right out. So it's like little chunks of aluminum. Robert's been slowly stripping out the threads. But yeah, that's all I was doing was going around just like this. Alright, so we're ready to put this one back in. Alright, so let's get situated again. Alright, so get it lined up. Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, we're going way in there just by the fingers. Alright, so right about there. Before it, I mean, I could probably go a little bit further, but... Alright, and then I lost... Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, much better. Clean your threads, boys and girls. Makes life a whole lot easier. Instead of having to constantly fix worn out threads. Alright, still I am just hand tightening, snugging them. And once I get them hand tight here, or kind of snug, I'll go back and torque them down. Okay. Hit that one more time. Oh, it's loose again. Alright, so we are tight. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this. Now this banjo bolt here doesn't need a whole lot of torque to it. Normally, you should always use your torque wrench, but I don't sometimes. Just because I've messed with these so long, I kind of know where I need to be. And normally what I'll do is I will extend my thumb all the way to the end of the ratchet, and then where my hand is, I have some left over there. For me, I just go ahead and turn just ever so slightly until I feel enough tension where I feel like I'm really having to torque it. And that should be tight for those. And then these, I just go all the way back out to the end of it. Just kind of bounce them a little bit. And there we go. Alright, so we have successfully put that in there. Alright, now we have to bleed it. which bleeding one of these is just like bleeding any kind of brake line or anything. What I'm going to do is I have a tube that I will hook on the end of the nipple there and unscrew that. That tube will lead into a container with old brake fluid already in it. It will act as a vacuum system. So as I pump it, it'll shoot out fluid, and then it'll fall into the canister, but no more fresh air can get back into that canister because it's just nothing but fluid in there. So if it backfeeds, it's going to backfeed fluid, and we're going to go ahead and go through that. And then let's see, our reservoir is probably, let's see how empty it is. Oh, it's actually got some still in it. Okay, so it didn't drain all the way out a while ago. It drained down, but not all the way out. So that's good. That means there's a good chance we didn't lose any kind of, or get any air in the lines between there and getting around to the slave there. All right, so let me get all that hooked up and we will come right back. Okay, so here is the setup. See, it's just a jar with some old nasty brake fluid in there. It's 2 pieces of hose. I use 2 different size pieces and just kind of merge them together. So that way, in case I ever run across one that's a smaller size than the other, I just flip them around. But it hooks onto the nipple there, and we'll get us a wrench, and we'll break that loose, and we will start pumping. We're going to make sure the reservoir is full over there. So I'm going to top that off as well, and we will come back when we let it loose and start letting it flow. Alright, so we got everything set up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get in the car and I'm going to pump the clutch. I'm going to just give it a few counts. I'll probably give it like a 5 count and then come check the reservoir just to make sure it's not emptied. But you should see fluid start pumping through there and a little bit of air. It shouldn't be too much air. Alright, so let's see what we got. Oh, we got fluid coming up. I didn't lose that much, so I'm going to keep pumping it some more and see if I can't get some more to go up through here. It looks like what few bubbles are in there, looks like they're just seeping right on through, so yeah, we should be good. Alright, I'm going to pump it some more. Alright, so there were additional 10 pumps. It didn't look like I hardly lost anything, really. Alright, so let's see where am I at. Alright, I'm going to give it a few more pumps because I overfilled the reservoir because I knew I was going to be losing it. So I'm going to pump it just a little bit more and I should be down to the max line. And then once I get down to the max line, we'll cap that off right there and then we'll try it and see how it feels. So, yeah, perfect. So we are at the max line in the reservoir. Maybe just a... No, we were dead on it. Okay, so I'm going to cap that off. Alright, and then I'm going to cap off that line right there, which is an 8mm. As soon as I find what I did with it. Somewhere... It's probably right in my face, I just can't see it. Eight millimeter, where did it go? So I found it, it was up under the camera. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take that line loose, and I'm going to catch it all on that rag right there. It's going to come out. Back into there. Alright, so you got that tight. I take this 8mm. And we're just going to, kind of with a thumb, just tighten it up just a little bit there, make it good and snug. Alright, so that didn't come out too bad, didn't make too much of a mess down in here. Ready to be cleaned up anyways. Alright, so after you do a job like this, always clean the area up as good as possible. So that way, check on it at a later time, and as long as it's still dry and you don't see any leaks or anything, you've done a good job. Alright, so I still have to hook up this line right here too, that hose clamp right there for the, which is still leaking. Alright, so I'm going to hook that back up and we should be good. Works good. Alright guys, so I got everything done. I do have clutch pedal again. Now I just got to put the pedal back on and fix all this where I was under there earlier, messing with all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully this guys, hopefully this helps you, swap out your slave cylinder on your clutch if it's giving you problems. Telltale signs is that's what's going on is you gotta put your foot on the clutch a little bit to press it, and it's got like a dead spot before it ever, feels like it catches anywhere or anything. Or you have to get halfway down before it ever feels like it's engaging. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out. It's a pretty easy fix. Be done 20-30 minutes, hour tops if it's your first time. But don't be afraid of it, and hope you guys have a good one. Talk to you next time.